the beauty of forgiving.
The book of Matthew 18 starts with the disciples of Jesus asking him who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Note, they said the kingdom of heaven and not a earthly one. The world standard is quite very different from the ways of God. What the flesh of men calls success could be a total failure with God. Matthew 18 verse 2 to 3 says, "And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily I say unto you, except you be converted, and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven." Now, paraphrasing it, Jesus told them, except you change and be converted, you cannot enter into the glorious presence of God. Except you have a pure heart that holds no offenses, except you depend wholly on God as a toddler would depend on its mother, then you cannot even access the kingdom of heaven. Then Jesus laid for them a standard in Matthew 18:15 to 17. Matthew 18:15 to 17. "Moreover, if your brother shall trespass against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he will hear you, you have gained your brother. But if he will not hear you, then take with you 2 or 3 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. And if he shall neglect to hear you, tell it to the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto you as an heathen man and a publican." Jesus says, if your brother trespassed against you, brother here could mean blood brother or brethren. Jesus says, make peace with them. So your peace with your brother is more important to God than any present you bring to him. Hebrews 12 verse 14. "Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man can see the Lord." So to God, your peacemaking is so important to him. So the scriptures in Hebrews 12 verse 14 says, when you do not follow peace with men, you cannot see God. Jesus says you could gain back your brother when you do that. How many people did really offend us that God expected us to forgive, but we have tossed away? We let them go. We let them go into sins and more error just because they did something that fell out with us, and we carried hatred, so much hatred for them. Imagine if God were to be like that. Who would remain on the surface of the earth? Look at God's words to a chronic sinner and offspring of the fallen Adam. Isaiah 43:25. I, even I am he that blot out thy transgressions for my own